Hello there, welcome to Nerd.World Films. Today we're discussing the life of Imhotep, the priest and Grand Vizier to Seti I. He was high priest to the god Osiris. A man of great influence, he had overseen the construction of many of the time's great temples, including the great temple dedicated to the god Amun-Ra. As Grand Vizier to the pharaoh Seti I, he spent a considerable amount of his time in the presence of the great god-king pharaoh, often accompanying him to watch his daughter in sparring matches with various other female warriors, including his mistress Anck-su-namun. It's not known when he first encountered Anck-su-namun, but became immediately enamored with her and her great beauty and ferocious spirit. Anck-su-namun also noticed the great priest, and the two of them at some point began an illicit affair. This, of course, was forbidden, as no other was meant to touch Anck-su-namun other than the pharaoh himself. She would paint elaborate patterns on her body that, if she was touched, would instantly smudge, so the pharaoh could inspect her and see that only he was laying his hands upon her. As a result, her and Imhotep had to take great care in their liaisons, so as not to arouse suspicion from the pharaoh. Their love was so strong that they were willing to risk life, limb, and torture, for if they were ever caught, that would be their fate. Unluckily for Imhotep and Anck-su-namun, that unfortunately would be what would happen. One day, during a careless liaison, not expecting the pharaoh's arrival, Imhotep and his priests had gone to Anck-su-namun's chambers. Before they could seal the doors, Seti I entered. Imhotep, who had already touched Anck-su-namun's shoulder, ran, hiding while Anck-su-namun tried to talk the pharaoh out. But seeing that her paints had been smudged, he realized that another had touched her. This would mean certain death for Anck-su-namun, forcing Imhotep's hand. He emerged from behind the curtains. Before the great pharaoh could realize what was happening, Imhotep took his sword, and Anck-su-namun pulled one of her daggers, and the two of them stabbed and cut at the pharaoh until his life was no more. As his magi guards rushed to his aid, Imhotep was dragged out by his priests, and Anck-su-namun committed suicide, declaring that her body was no longer his temple, while Imhotep swore that she would be resurrected using the dark magics of the Book of the Dead that he had become so familiar with in his time as the high priest of Egypt. Taking her body from her tomb, he took her to the legendary city of Hamunaptra, a dark, magical city where the line between the living and the dead is blurred. He was able to resurrect her soul and put it back into her body, but not before the Magi caught up with him, realizing what he was doing. Unable to complete the ritual, Anck-su-namun remained dead, and Imhotep was to be punished for his crimes, as it was now apparent that he had been complicit in the murder of the pharaoh. He was sentenced to undergo the Undying, a ritual execution that entailed him being partially mummified, interned in a sarcophagus with beetles that would slowly eat him alive, as well as dark spells being cast upon him, while all of his priests, who had covered up the murder, were condemned to be mummified alive alongside him. His body was entombed at the base of a statue of the god Anubis to watch over him, as it was said that this execution came with it a great dark curse, that if his body were ever to be released, If he was to rise again, he would be a plague upon the earth, a walking corpse, a disease upon the world. Whether this is true or not is yet to be seen, for if his body is ever discovered, the world may be facing its end. All for the love of a priest and the forbidden fruit of a pharaoh's mistress. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe, and comment down below.